morning, but that's all right. Oh, wait, I'm not live. Okay, so here I am broadcasting now, getting the hang of this YouTube thing, this broadcasting live. Anyway, I try to broadcast in the morning, but it's the evening now. It's 5:05, and I'm going to talk about my business. My name is Eric Normand. My business is purelyfunctional.tv, where I teach closure. And I like to go over the basics because I often forget them. So the basics for this business, for what I'm doing right now, making content and teaching closure. That's it. Make sure that I get those done. Talking to customers is good too. Anyway, let me talk about what I did today. Usually I try to talk about what I will do. Today I had a couple phone calls in the morning. One was an old friend that I hadn't talked to in a while who used to coach me in business. And, you know, he's not one of those coaches that like ever transformed my life or anything. But it was very good to have someone to talk to who believed in me and encouraged me and stuff like that. So he's running his own business too, and so it's just good to talk shop. I also had a call with my editor, and he is for my book. So I'm writing a book, and man, it's always a good call. I tend to ramble on those calls, which I'm not happy with. Sometimes our calls, we've had like 6-hour calls before, which is kind of shameful. We just enjoy it a little too much, or I enjoy it too much, and he is very patient. I think he enjoys it too, but trying to get stuff done, a 6-hour call is not always the best. Anyway, we are very close to early access, and it's hard to say because I'm not that familiar with the process that they're going through internally at the publishing house, but maybe 2 weeks away. That's what it seems like. All the stuff that I had to do is turned in, so they're just going through their internal process. I'm going to have to review a thing when they're ready for it to be reviewed. And then apparently once everything's like entered in and ready, they can just click a button and it's live. But I'm going to wait for that until I'm going to wait for that before I start promoting it in earnest. That's I think that's the plan. Because you don't want to start promoting it, try to line it up with a date that's in the future, and then that doesn't land and whatever. So I'm going to wait until I have a web link to share with people before I do any hardcore promotion of it. And this is the first time that the general public will have seen the book, and the publisher is confident that the results of the early access program mirror the results of like the launch, the eventual publication. So that's good. It means that and people will start seeing it. I'll start the sales will start. I won't get the money yet. I won't get the money until a little later. But I'm used to getting like a deposit every couple days from Stripe. But the money will start flowing, and we'll be able to judge how well it's going to do. So I'm very excited about that. Like I said in the last one, I do have hopes that it will make money. I know you're not supposed to do that with a book. Like, you're not supposed to do it for the money, but I'm breaking the rules. I'm breaking the rules. Trying to make money with a book. So that's good. We've got a plan. I waited until after this early access was ready, and one of the things we talked about on the call was rearranging the table of contents, because I made the table of contents like a year ago, and it was maybe 8 months ago, 10 months ago, and it was really to try to come up with a map of the information so that there's some kind of organizational system. And I kind of made one. It's not bad. The one I made is based on this idea of like, well, actions, or this isn't the place to talk about it, but I shoehorned the stuff in there. It kind of worked. It's good enough to work with. But I came up with a better one. So I'm going to rearrange that. And this one is actually more like a progression, like stuff gets more sophisticated as you go. So that, and like, prerequisites at the beginning, and like, it just works out better. And he's all on board with that. So I'm going to make that change. Right. About the content, I did not publish or record any more lessons. What I did today was I pre-scheduled my newsletter. So the newsletter I send out every week on Monday, and I like to get it done before the weekend because then I don't have to worry about it. For a long time, I was doing it like Sunday night. So at like 8 o'clock at night, I'd be like, okay, kids asleep. Let's start the newsletter. And that wasn't the best for my health or sanity or anything like that. So now I try to do it Friday. Not always successful, but today I did it. And it really, it's one of those things that just, you got to put other stuff aside. But it has to go out, so I do it. It's something I've been consistent with since 2012, so it's where most people hear from me, and I build a lot of trust and authority, so I like to keep it going out on a schedule. And what I'm trying now is making it much more about teaching. So I have a closure tip. I have an exercise, like a challenge or a problem that people do, and I like it. It's not a link newsletter like it was for a while. It was just like 10 links that I thought were interesting. Now it is real tips, and I do link to stuff obviously, but I structure it around like, here's a better way to learn, and here's a thing that you should go check out, and here's a problem that will challenge you to learn a little bit more closure. So all good stuff. That's basically all I've done today that's worth talking about. Answered emails, and I started working on the answer to the problem for next week, just to give it a shot. It's kind of challenging. So yeah, that's about it. I need to get more lessons planned out for the new course. Those will be, start recording again on Monday. Next week I have a big challenge, which is that both kids are off of school or camp, and so they're going to be home with me. I pick up the slack on that and all week. So I don't know if I'm going to get much recording time. Recording time usually is very scarce. But you know what? I might be able to do it in the early morning or something like that. If I have everything planned out and ready, that's going to be the challenge. is to like have it ready the night before and go to sleep on time so I can wake up refreshed and boom, get it out before the kids wake up. I also have this other challenge, which is that one kid wakes up early and one kid wakes up late. So I get kind of like, and goes to sleep late. So I get kind of like the intersection of their sleeping for my own sleeping. Another thing is I did mention the courses, the new course, the new lessons in the newsletter. I say mention it features prominently, like more than a quarter of the issue is about that, and that is how I talk about it. So I don't send out a lot of emails, just one a week, but I try to feature my own stuff, my new stuff, while I'm in the newsletter. And I've had a downtick in MRR. I checked this morning; it was 7,700. It was this close to 8,000 like 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. Doesn't matter, but it's kind of trending downward right now. It's a little dip. So I'm hoping that with the new course, it will cause a tick upward. I haven't opened the early access yet, but I have promised that it will be done. Well, I called it next week when it goes out on Monday. So whatever that means, it'll happen. I like to have a few lessons in the can ready, available, so that when they buy it, there's enough to watch. So it's, over an hour I usually put it at. This course is probably going to come in 5 or 6 hours. The nice thing is that this topic is something that is very important to learn. It's encouraged to learn by the Clojure core team, but there's not a lot of good learning materials. So I hope people are excited to learn it, and there's not a lot of other stuff to look at. So if they want to learn it, I'll be the source for it. So that's exciting, and I'll gauge how much excitement there is for it. Anyway, I've noticed that the more content I make, that's like the number one thing for keeping churn down. There's new stuff. Someone watches everything, then they're kind of like, why am I still subscribed? I saw it all, right? That's a very common thing. So the more I make, the lower churn. And to a point, there's still going to be some churn because, people have financial trouble, all sorts of stuff like that. Or they're like, I don't like Clojure anymore, whatever. They can't, you can't get all of the people, all the churn down. But also it encourages new signups, and they'll also be able to buy it as an individual sale when the early access program opens up. So that'll be good. Nice little source of uptick, and I'm trying to track it so that I can see really how much effect a new course has. The nice thing is, like, recording a new course as an early access program, I'm really in the habit of mentioning all the new videos that are coming out. Gives me something to talk about each newsletter. So I try to have something every week, and also lets me like kind of resell the topic, and it's nice. The newsletter is a nice little drip from Eric, me, about Clojure and my stuff. So, okay, there's one thing that I really want to get done that I just have not gotten to yet, and that is a Clojure install guide. I have install guides for Clojure on the 3 major platforms that existed in 2016. That's when I did it. So that's Windows 7 and Windows 8, but I apparently now there's Windows 10. So like they're very old. So I need to update them. And also since 2016, the Clojure command line client has come out, which is I don't have anything on that. It's available for Mac and Linux, so I have to put those in there too. But these are high traffic pages on my site, and so keeping them up to date and a little bit of expansion that will be good for SEO, good for my users. It'll be good all around. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have, and thank you. I'll see you next time, maybe on Monday. Awesome. See you later.